Joining me now is South African correspondent Diane Hawker. Diane, good to see you as always. Thanks for your time. Now, Nelson Mandela is a South African, an African icon, no doubt. Now, it seems some of his personal belongings will be sold off in an international auction. How did this happen? Diane, I think your microphone is still on mute.
I'm unmuted. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
All right. It's quite a storm that's been brewing now for a few months. And it all started with the key that you mentioned in your intro. US auction house was due to auction off that key. And the SA Heritage Foundation actually interdicted them and stopped them from selling that off. And then it later became clear that there were actually more items that the auction house had in its possession. Now, the Heritage Foundation is saying that that interdict should have actually stopped any other items from being auctioned off. And it once the items returned to South Africa, it's saying that these are heritage items that shouldn't actually be sold off on the international market. If you just look at the price that's being offered just for the key that you're displaying on screen there, the proposed bid is $1 million US, which is about 17 million South African rand with the current exchange rate. So obviously these items could potentially fetch quite a high a fee, but of course, Africans and South Africans also do have the right to be able to keep these items within the continent and being able to see them through museums and things like that. And that's part of the argument in this case, is that these items should be kept, on the continent and in particular in South Africa, as opposed to being sold off to the highest bidder somewhere else in the world.
Diane, apart from that key we saw now, take us through some other items that are up for sale.
Quite an interesting list, Suleiman, of items. There are 33 items in total. Everybody will remember Nelson Mandela wearing those floral shirts that became known here in South Africa as the Madiba shirt. And there's one of those shirts is on that list, as well as some signed books that were in Nelson Mandela's possession. There's also a Rivonia trial photograph that he actually signed. Now, Nelson Mandela was actually arrested in Rivonia at a farm that has now been turned into a museum, which is called Lily's Leaf. He was arrested there while he was pretending to be a gardener. So there's obviously quite a lot of history in that photograph. It ultimately led to the trial where he was then convicted to that time in prison. Also, there's an original charcoal drawing that was drawn by Nelson Mandela, as well as a bust and a US mint coin that was minted in the US specifically for Nelson Mandela. So quite a lot of important artifacts that are on that list, Suleiman.
And then Nelson Mandela's daughter says she has every right to sell off the items. So what's her legal argument?
Absolutely. She's saying that the commission, the Human Rights Association the Heritage Association has not put these items on any kind of heritage list. Now, here in South Africa, the association is able to designate buildings and artifacts as heritage items, and then place certain categories to those items, as well as say, whether you're able to do anything. So for example, if you live in a house that is a heritage building, you would be limited in terms of the kinds of renovations, for example, that you'd be able to do. She's saying that these items should have been placed on such a list beforehand, and considering that they were not, that the association cannot come at this point and say that they are artifacts. She's also saying that there are other people that have been selling Nelson Mandela's items who have not been approached or targeted in this way. And he's suggesting that there's some sort of unfair treatment towards her from the association.
And Diane, can she be stopped? Can the Heritage Resources Foundation say, no, you cannot do this?
Well, in this instance, the court will actually have to decide. This matter is at the High Court in Johannesburg at the moment, and papers have been filed from both her team as well as the Heritage Foundation's team. The foundation is basically saying that anyone who is involved in selling off these items is involved in a criminal act, and says that anyone who assists in selling them off would also be involved in a criminal act and could face some kind of legal sanction. I would expect that this matter would possibly even go higher up in the legal levels beyond the High Court, possibly to the Supreme Court of Appeal or even to the Constitutional Court, considering that there's so much at stake here. The auction house that is involved in this has also been cited in these court papers. So we'll just have to see when that matter is obviously argued in court, and we'll bring the viewers an update on that closer to the time.
Many thanks, Diane Hawker, for speaking with us.
Thank you.